Everybody. Welcome to Let's Talk About It with Wanda. Authenticity. What is it? Do we all struggle with it? Is it important? Is it something that we really need? Is authenticity relevant today? We're going to discuss it. We're going to talk about it. So let's go.
Let's talk about it.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Let's Talk About It with Wanda. Here we talk about relationships. We talk about mind, body, and spirit, healthcare, hair care, and some religion as well. But today we are excited to continue our series on apply pressure. And I'm so excited. No, that's not Dr. Mathis. I have a last minute guest, and I'm so grateful to her. That's what friendships is for. That's what friends are for, right? Dr. Mathis called me and she let me know that she had an emergency, so she could not join. And I was able to call my dear friend, Miss Leslie Montgomery, who is awesome in her own right, to come to talk to us about something that is dear to her heart. And I'm going to let her talk about her program, but this is the precursor to her program that she will be having very soon. And tonight we are talking about apply the pressure of authenticity. That's right. Authenticity. So do me a favor before we even get started. If you're on YouTube, make sure that you have liked this YouTube channel, that you are sharing, and then you turn on those notifications so that when we do go live, you are always notified. And if you're on Facebook, make sure that you are following me. Like or love the program. You can do that. You can like or love it. I prefer that you love it. And then go ahead and share it with somebody, because you know what? Tonight's program, I know I say that every week, but for real, authenticity is major in this day and age. And guess what? When we are exiting 2024, we're not going into 2025 being something that we're not. So tonight, we have the amazing Leslie Montgomery with us to talk about applying the pressure of authenticity. Miss Leslie, please, and please introduce yourself to the people.
Good evening, and I want to say thank you so much for having me. I'm not sure the topic would be one I would choose to be on with, but I appreciate you even thinking about me to come on with you. My name is Leslie Montgomery, and I don't know what you call it. You was talking about it when you was praying. It's not my show, and I get caught up. Well, what do you call it? I host the LKM Kingdom Living Leslie's Lessons Learned, and I'm glad to be with you tonight, Minister Wanda. This is a great pleasure, and your topic, applying pressure, has been put on tonight.
Absolutely. Well, tell them a little bit about yourself. Don't be biased. Okay, I'll tell a little bit. So she does have an amazing show that is called Leslie's Lessons Learned, and it airs every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. via Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And when I tell you that Miss Leslie has had some life changing topics. Each week, she's getting feedback from somebody who has viewed, whether it was live or in the archives watching the replay later, that is explaining to her how that program has changed and blessed her life. So she is out here doing the work, right? Not just being about it, not just talking about it, but being about the work of the kingdom. And not just on Sundays, but she has programs on Thursdays that are helping people, rather it's with your health, rather it's doing a living trust, rather it's getting all of your papers in order and organizing them so that when that time comes that everybody can find your papers. um, she has CEOs on, she has health professionals on, and it's just an amazing program that you want to be a part of. So Leslie is going to, I will put, because I didn't learn how to do all of that, y'all, I'm learning to put all of her information
Mm.
in the description. We'll do that later. But she's also a part of the 1212 community too, and she shares there and teaches lessons there as well. So don't let Missy Leslie make you feel like I'm not nobody. She's won awards. Every time I turn around, she's traveling somewhere because she's being awarded for the great work that she's done. She's an author. Aren't you? Yes, she is.
I am.
She
I
is.
forget about it, but yes.
She's an author. So I'm just happy that she took time out of her schedule to be here with me when I called her because I needed her. And I'm happy that she is here. And the reason why I asked her to talk about this subject is because it's a subject that we've been talking about on her show, Leslie's Lessons Learned. And in December, Miss Leslie, in December,
Applying the pressure.
she is having something great with this same topic. So tell them about what's coming up in December.
Yes, I want to say good evening. I see Alicia is on, and she is a product of pushing me forward. And in December the 21st, I will be also talking about being authentic. And from that point, it seems like there is a message we have not tapped into yet with authentic, being authentic, that the Father wants us to really unfold. As you said, going into 2025, we have to go in differently. And your topic, apply the pressure. And I always like, oh, when I say it, but he is applying the pressure. He's applying, because it's time. We have lived in the shadows of so many different people for so long, and now he's like, that's not who I made you to be, and I have more for you. And one of the things, you said something, I want to start probably right there about with the book. One of the things that you were saying was that in 2025, we need to go into it differently. And, when we think of the new year, we have resolutions, we have this, we have that, and we never, never, never really get into the authenticity of who we are. We bypass all those things. We want to lose weight. We're going to go on a diet. We're going to do the Daniel fast. We're doing all these things, but we're still doing it covered up. So those are some of the things that Yahweh wants to uncover in us, those things that we lived life long enough doing because somebody else has shown us, or we watched someone long enough to do it the way they do it.
Wow. I like that. That we put all these things forward when we're going into a new year. One of the things that I kind of um, that gets next to me is the vision board. So we have the vision board, and then there's a reason why. I just think that with the vision board, there needs to be a plan to back up the vision board. We do the vision board, and then we have the vision board, and then nothing comes after the vision board. I think there needs to be a strategic plan to support the vision board. But we have the vision boards. We have all of these, for those who still do resolutions, they do resolutions. For all of us who have plans and goals and dreams and all of these aspirations that we're going to accomplish when we go into
Do it
2025.
differently. We're going to do it
Yes, we're going to
differently.
do it differently, right? We're going this year, I'm going back to school. This year,
Right,
I am going to write the book. This
right.
year, I am going to be physically fit. I'm going to gym. The gym is so packed.
And
Come
I'm in
January.
it.
Listen, the gym, that's why I'm like, let me know now, right? Because the gym come January, the gym is so packed.
And they love it
They
because that's when they make their money for
absolutely
all. And you know what? I don't mean to interrupt you.
no, go
Let
ahead.
me say, let me say this. They make the money off all the liars.
All the liars, and the word I was going to was the facades, right?
Right.
We have the mask and the facades because, like what you were saying, we have all these plans, but who's really behind all of the plans that we're making, and what's the motive? What's the initiative behind the plans that we are making? And a lot of times it's the wrong motive because there's a facade going on. Like you said, the gym is excited to see us coming. The bakery shops might not be too happy about us.
For
Starbucks
a few months. For a few months.
Starbucks never misses a beat because instead of getting the regular milk, we can get oat milk now. Our almond milk, and hold the whip. Hold the whip. I don't, yeah, put the sugar free syrup in there. I'm doing something different. So Starbucks is equipped for the New Year's resolutions, right? And the new goals, right? And the new aspirations. But
Yeah.
is that authentically who we are? And then we have to look at why we are setting these goals and these aspirations. You know, why do I want to write a book? Do I
Right.
want to write a book because some prophet came to town and told me, you know, Yahweh is showing me that there's a book in you. I see it. There's a book. Oh, I know I want to. Yes, hallelujah. There's a book in you, and you ain't thought about writing no book, right?
Right.
And so, are we writing the book because someone told us? I'm being funny about the prophet, but you know, am I doing the book because somebody told me that there's a book in you? Or am I writing the book because I've seen down my timeline all
That,
year, I've seen people releasing books, right? And so I'm thinking, I'm looking at my life. Well, shoot, I could write a book. I've been through some stuff. You know, I thought about writing a book 3 years ago. I think now is the time to write a book. Is
mhm.
that the authentic you, or are you trying to do something somebody else
Yeah. And is it the timing? You
said?
can write the book, but releasing the book is a whole nother thing. And so that the part of us satisfying ourselves, trying to find a way to make all these things, to make ourselves happy because we don't know who we are. Because we don't know who we are. So it's like being on a surfboard out in the wave and trying to make that, surfing, you have to learn the technique of surfing. We've learned the technique of surfing and not really knowing who we are. The technique is there. We know how to maneuver around things so that people really don't see us because we're afraid of what they'll think when they see us, when they see the truth of who we are. So we learned how to master that part of our lives. And even though we mastered that part of our lives, so many people can see through it. So many people can say something ain't right, or you know they can see that you're not authentic in who you are. um, I'm just going to use this as an example. If you think about there was a wave at a time when everybody was trying to preach like everybody else, and there was no authenticity because authenticity,
Authenticity. Mhm.
authenticity. Look,
Authenticity. Keep going.
Ashley was had me working this word all day. She's like, "You're not gonna get on there and embarrass me no more."
It's okay because sometimes it come out and sometimes it don't.
That's a tongue twister.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Oh,
But
but
you're
there
right. You're right.
yeah, and it turned me off. I don't know how many people it turned off, but when I would see it, it really aggravated me and irritated me. Because when I listen to you, I don't want to hear another preacher. I want to hear you, and I want to hear what you. I don't want to hear their hums and their ums, and I want to hear the authentic part of your word that Yahweh has given you, and that used to turn me off so much. So there was a lot of ministers that I would not listen to, or I would not. I just stopped listening to, because when I listened to them, I knew where they got it from, and that is so disappointing to me.
It is.
You know,
What's wrong with you? You
right?
know, and have you sat still long enough to know who you are? Like you said, a lot of people don't know who they are. And what's amazing is they don't realize people can see the difference. We know that's not you. Oh, you trying to be like such and such. You try, and you know what? People will lie to you too. Listen, they will lie to you.
Yes,
You preach that. You preach that thing. That was good. Yes, it was. And then get with their friends and buddy or whoever
and laugh.
and laugh at you. Now you know he's trying to sound just like such and such and such and such. Yeah. That you know, yeah.
I've 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 been in services where I've seen well-known TV ministers, or I'm gonna say ministers, preachers preach a certain topic and use illustrations, and go into a normal service and see someone else doing the same thing, and people are flipping over the seats, hollering and screaming. Well, that's not even your message. You took somebody else's message to the T and you preached it. Now, there's a difference in you having Yahweh sending several people the same messages.
Uh-huh.
That's a difference,
Uh-huh.
because there will be times, and you know that it's confirmation, because as so many people are saying the same thing, you know that it's a message that Yahweh is sending. I'm not speaking of that, but
Mm-mm.
I'm speaking of those that don't tailor their own message to fit them.
That's good. Because even if in that instance where it's confirmation because Yahweh is giving several people the same thing, it still will be different in its own right because it's written and it comes from each individual because every individual is different, authentic, and unique. Their
Right.
characters are different, their personalities are different. And where I might use just regular layman's terms. I might, some use some double negatives and some, I'm just going to be Wanda, right?
Right.
I'm not going to get up there and try to use all these elaborate words trying to deliver a message because it's not me. I'm going to deliver a message the way I would, but it could be the same exact message that Yahweh gave you. Same
Right.
title, same verses, all of
That's right.
that, but it's going to be authentic to you and how you would deliver it. So even the way it's written is going to be different
Right.
because Yahweh is authentic in himself.
He is. He is. And yesterday we were talking about Adam and Eve, if you
Mhm,
remember correctly,
mhm.
and we were saying that that they didn't have anybody to follow after, or to give them an example. They didn't need anybody. They were created in his image and his likeness, and they were supposed to be in his image. So at that time, who they were to be, they were already created to be. Who you're supposed to be, you're already created to be. Why? Because you are fearfully and wonderfully made. And if you really look into that, that means that you are authentic. It means we talk about it all the time. Everybody doesn't have the same fingerprints. Everybody don't have the same creases in their faces. They might look like they're in the same place.
Mhm.
We are not robots. We are not carbon copies, even though scientists or physicians or researchers have found ways to make carbon copy, but they
Right.
can never make the real you. And even when if you look at them, and they don't respond the way you do. They're slow. There's just different things about them that makes a person know that that's not you. Can I say that's the same way when we preach somebody else's message?
That's good.
It's the
That's
same way. There's
it,
something different.
yeah. It amazes me why we're never satisfied with who we are or what we have. And as you were talking, it reminded me of why the world and the country is in the condition that it is now,
Hmm.
because we didn't want to stick to our authenticity, the
The
way
original plan.
designed, the original plan,
The
the way
original.
Yahweh had designed to care for people. I got you. I I have your rules, I have your precepts, I have your commandments, I have your instructions, your laws, right? Your instructions, and this is the way I want to govern you. I have prophets and judges to go and deliver a message that I want to say to you. And again, because we didn't like the authenticity of the way Yahweh was running things, we wanted to do things, or I should say they wanted to do things like other people, watching and looking at other people,
That's what I was going to say.
taking our eyes off of Yahweh and Elohim and looking at what other people have, right? If is that not what we do today? We don't like to be our authentic selves because we are always watching and looking at somebody else's.
I'm not messing with Alicia today, okay? I'm not messing with Alicia
Let me
today.
stop right now and just say shalom and hello to everybody who has joined. I'm so happy you guys are here tonight. I'd like to say hello to Miss Alicia, Miss Frida Walker. I'm so happy that you are here with us as we talk about apply the pressure of authenticity.
Yeah.
And as I was saying, that wanting to be like somebody else, that not wanting to walk in the authenticity that we should, is what caused us to be in the situation we are now.
Yeah.
Give us a king like other nations.
Well, you think about it. They they never even gave Yahweh a chance to show them how to be what he created them to be. Why? They were always looking at man. You know, they saw man when man was speaking, they saw Moses. You know what I mean? They were and that's one of the issues we have today. We're not looking at the maker. I'm gonna get Alicia. We're not looking at we're not looking at the maker, we're looking at man.
Yeah,
And we think that man, what we see man do is what we're supposed to do. That be why? Because we get caught up in the excitement that we see that they get when they preach a certain message, or we get caught up in that special that influencer that has a large following. We get caught up in that podcaster that have millions of people following them. And because we get caught up in that, we forget that there is a way for us. that we have an assignment that has been tailored for us. And as a look, I could never do 12-12. When I'm on 5 a.m. in the morning, I'm like, Leisha got this, when I can never be Wanda. When I listen to Wanda, I'm like, Wanda got this. She like to talk. I'm not doing all that talking. I'm just, and no, what I'm saying is you guys can carry what you're called to do. I'm kind of like quiet, even though I talk, I'll sit in the back and listen more so. And I'm like, how am I going to do an hour talking, by myself or something like that? But I can't be who anyone else is. And you were naming some people. I saw that Michelle Grice was on here too.
Oh,
So
Michelle, I'm
look,
sorry. I can't see
that's
her.
all right. I just wanted to say hi to her as well.
Thank
Look,
you.
like, listen at me.
Y'all know I'm learning this as I go.
That's
I'm
all
learning,
right.
y'all.
So, it takes maturity to to make the decision to walk in who you are authentically. Now, it's a process because you got to go from being everybody else to being yourself. That
Mm,
takes a process of changing. What has to change first? Your mindset.
mhm, mhm,
Starts with the mind.
mhm. That and that's that self concept.
Yes. Thank you. Yes. Wait. Alicia said it best. She said, "You are so elegant, and you are your style, your presentation. Right. I can never be Wanda.
And
Look,
thank
I'm
you,
the
Miss
I'm the hey y'all girl," and she's like,
Alicia.
"Hello,
And
how are
I
you
thank Miss
doing?"
Alicia for that because I was just watching her earlier today, and I was like, she's just so graceful. It just comes so easy to her. It just flows. And so I
It
but see,
does.
that's the difference. We see things in each other and we admire things in each other, but we aren't looking at each other and saying, okay, I got to be like Alicia.
No,
Okay.
right.
Um, Let me go cut my hair. Cause listen, Miss Alicia got a haircut. I was like, wait a minute here. That is fire. That listen, I told her, I
She
said, come
got the
on,
perfect face
haircut.
for it. Yeah,
That's fire. But people they will go so far. They will look at Miss Alicia and start to mimic how she speaks. They'll start to mimic how the clothes that she wears. They will mimic how
yeah,
she wears her hair because they think that what Alicia has, in order for me to be successful, I have to be like Alicia
right.
you know and that is the problem that we are seeing. We see so much of facades, I should say.
We've been trained.
Wow, explain that. Explain that.
We've been trained from as I was saying earlier, from young children. We're trained to follow.
Mhm.
We're trained to pick up what someone else has done. And society, I always call it society, but the world has created it that they don't want you to be authentic. They don't want you to be yourself. They want you to copycat someone else.
Yes, 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 yes. Listen, did you see Susie Mae's daughter? Did you see how poised she was? Did you
Why
see
can't
how
you be
she
like that?
Yes. Did you see how she walked in the room and sat down and was quiet and crossed her legs? Why can't you be like that? Did you see your best friend? Do you see how she bring home A's every report card period? Why can't you be like that? Then you have a husband. My sisters do such and such and such. They iron the curtains and they iron the sheets. My mother taught them to do that. Why can't you be like that? I'm not trying to iron those sheets. And that doesn't make me less of a woman. That doesn't make me less of a brilliant individual, one that's valued, one that is precious and a jewel, because I don't want to iron sheets like that's the way you guys were raised. Well, my mother
Yeah.
didn't have me ironing sheets, but I can make a bed so tight that a quarter can bounce off of it. Can your sister
Right.
do that? Right. So it's the pressure that we get, like you said, probably from childhood, as you
Oh
were
yeah.
like
Yeah.
someone, Alicia said, comparison to siblings.
I was getting ready to say, give an illustration of that one right there. I could be in the store with my mother, and someone would come, "Oh, your daughter's so cute," and she would say something like, "Yeah, but you should see my other daughter." You know, so
Mhm.
that automatically makes you want to shift and be something that you've never been created to be.
Mhm. And
You
so
know, and
you
she
start
she
living
did
your
things
life.
like that, and she
Yeah.
probably didn't mean anything, but I don't know, she might have, but she I don't think
I
she
don't think they, I don't
but
even
but
think they realize what
right,
they think they're helping us. I think that was something with the older generation because I had to hear it as well, and it's like I'm not her. I was the child that still like today why I love fashion so much. At holidays, I felt like we all should put on our best clothes and come
yes.
to the dinner table and eat. And I had written out a poem for every occasion. We wasn't eating nothing. We wasn't saying the blessing until I read my poem or sang the song. I'm not lying. I promise you. If you ask my brother,
I love it.
a special poem for the occasion. Thanksgiving. We are grateful for this day, for God has shined upon us each and every way.
So you wanted to be an actress too at some
I
point.
was a horrible actress. Listen, I was, I just, the arts, I've always been a child that if I'm, it's like, is that girl really on punishment? If they put me on punishment, I was getting books, I was going to read, I was going to sing till they tell me to shut up and go to bed. I would draw anything artistic. That was me as a child. So I love to write. I wrote poems and I would sing songs. I sing, you could hear me singing down the street, they used to tell me. So that was who I was.
Yeah,
And to tell me not
not
to do
were. That's who
well, yeah,
you
I still
are.
am. And growing up as a child, that's who I was, right? And so to stifle that and tell me not to do that would
Right.
keep me from being my authentic self. And
Yes.
so when you tell a child because you see somebody else's child doing something and to tell them you should be like that, well, you grow up thinking that there's something wrong with you.
Right. Right. Alicia says, "Sing us a song," but she also tapped into two areas. One was being the comparison of other wives,
Mm-hmm.
and that's one of the things I'm going to talk about on
Mm.
being authentic because of having to go through that area. Then she talked about the bad hair, the good
The good
hair,
hair and the bad hair.
and and our family. Like my cousins and one of my sisters, they have beautiful hair. The hair that you don't have to do anything with, but they don't like. And then we had a different grade of hair, and I was like, I want that grade, you know, you know. And she's like, I can't stand this hair, you know. We don't know how to be satisfied with what we are and who
We are
we.
never satisfied.
We don't even know how, to be grateful. You have to be grateful for who you are. You have to be grateful for who Yahweh has created you to be. You cannot any longer go along looking at somebody else, wishing that you were who they are and why they are who they are, because you'll never develop who you really are.
right,
You'll
right,
never develop.
right.
So, what happens when you don't develop? What are some of the things that they say when you're underdeveloped? Um, they'll say that you lack certain things as
Mhm,
far as learning.
mhm,
You or the ability to comprehend.
Hmm.
These are things that happen when you never develop, even spiritually,
Ah, that's good.
even spiritually. So it is very important that you understand that you love who you are. And that's one of the things I'll be talking about on the 25th or the 21st is loving who you are.
So let's pause right here. I want everybody to right now mark in your calendars for December 25th, 21st. We
21st.
don't have a time yet. Time is at,
Prayerfully 7.
okay, 7 a.m. or
We'll
7.
be out of Sabbath. Prayerfully 7.
Okay,
That's a
7
Sabbath.
p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I
Yeah.
won't be out of SAP. Well, I might. No, I
No.
may be. Um, but mark your calendars for December 21st at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as Miss Leslie talks about authenticity. It's going to be a great program, which is why I said tonight when I asked her to join me, we need to talk about that tonight so we can get a precursor so it will make people excited about wanting to be there, because honestly this is such a deep topic that it's hard to touch each area of it, like Miss Alicia was saying, comparison from siblings, comparison in wives, comparison in hair, comparison in education, comparison
Right.
on the jobs, all of that we have to face every day, and we struggle and fight to be our authentic selves. So I want you all to make sure that you are there when Miss Leslie has this discussion, because it's going to be phenomenal.
Applying the pressure. Go ahead.
I
Apply the
am
pressure.
applying the pressure of authenticity, because look, we no longer want to hide behind a mask.
No.
We don't want to do that. We're not doing all of that in 2025. We're going to be real and true to ourselves first. And when we're real and true to ourselves first, then we can present an authentic self, right? And so I know what my weak areas are. I know what I'm strong in. And so if there is something that I want to do in next year, then knowing me, who I am, I need to start setting that up now, because I've been going to the gym since this time last year. I, authenticity. My authentic self has been going to the gym since last year. And now I really need to get into the gym. And every week I say, okay, I can't go at night because when I get off of work, it's too late. I need to go in the morning at 5 a.m. And that alarm go off and I touch the snooze and turn over and say, it was 6 o'clock to get up before I got to get to work. So that's me. And so I realized to make that successful in 2025, I need to start doing something now, because it's not going to happen. And we need to be more of who we are, who we've called to be, who we're called to be. And if we're having a problem recognizing who our authentic self is, then we got to sit back. Like you said something, and then I want you to keep going. You said it takes maturity to walk in authenticity. And it
I
may
need to write that down.
I wrote it down for you. See, I'm your scribe. I wrote it down for you. Maturity, it takes maturity to walk in authenticity. That
It
means
does.
you have to grow up. You got to change your mindset. And it made me think about the word perfect. We talked about perfect um, a couple of weeks ago. And when you look at that word perfect in the Greek, it's one of the definitions is grown man,
Yeah.
being a grown man. So that means, a grown man, I know we'll say, well, not all grown men are have mature minds, but
The
The
concept, you got to
concept of
understand.
that
Yeah.
is that a grown man should be mature,
Right.
right? And in order for me to walk in my authentic self, I got to grow up. I got to be mature.
Yeah. Does that mean you hit the mark all the way around? No. But be okay with who you are. Love who you are. Appreciate who you are. Yeah, I got a mouth and I say some things sometimes and it's like, "Oh my God," but the fact of the matter, yeah, not,
No,
I'm
I'm
just
just thinking, well, I mean, if that's, I don't want nobody else but you. I don't want
right,
no, but I get it because sometimes I got to work on me because my authentic self got a face that be like, huh, did you? I saw a video meme the other day and my sister sent it to me of a person showing their real facial expressions and how your sister or your best friend is there because you showing your real facial expressions and they hitting you because you're not supposed to and then you
my
switch.
grandmother used to pinch us. We used to hate that. Move, leave me alone.
I've been working on my face for a long time. I've come a long way. I got yet places to go, but I've been working on this face for a long time. But it's like I want the 100% of you. I don't want
Right,
anything less than who Yahweh created you to be. Because if we give anything less, now yes, there should be some etiquette and some poise to it.
I'm working on it. I'm working
Me
on
too.
it.
Me too. I am too. But to do or be anything else, it
It's
it
robbery.
and I was to how it feel it's to Yahweh,
Yeah,
how it
it's a
it,
slap
it
in the face.
yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah,
It,
to
it,
not like who he created you to
yeah.
be. And that's what it is. You don't like who he created you to be because you've never experienced who he's created you to be. It's just like someone saying they went through a hard time, and you say, "Well, try." I'm using try Jesus, and they say, "I already tried him. It don't work."
You didn't try him.
Right?
That's all I'm gonna say, because you didn't try him.
Exactly.
You ain't tried the man. That's what they used to say. You
Exactly.
need to try the man, right? You didn't try him. Not
Right.
you didn't get to know him
Right.
because getting to know there's a difference. Now we go, oh Father. There's a difference in an experience and an encounter with him.
Most
And
definite.
we got to go past the experience to get the encounter, right? Paul didn't have an experience with
That's
Yeshua.
right. That's right.
Paul had an encounter with Yeshua, the Messiah, that changed his entire life. There is no one who has had an encounter with the Messiah, with the Savior, who hasn't come back with their lives being changed.
That's
So
right.
you didn't get to know him.
Right. And it's the same thing with us not knowing ourselves. We don't take the time to get to know ourselves, and some people will really bank on the fact that they uh, can't be authentic because they tried that and it didn't work. You tried, you made a mistake, people laughed at you. Whatever made you decide that you could not be yourself was just to keep you from being yourself.
Yourself. A trick. Come on.
Yeah,
A trick
just
of the enemy. He
hmm
don't care how he comes. He does not care how he comes. All he wants to do is pervert the perfectness of Yahweh.
that's the purpose of Adam and Eve. That's what happened with them. And that's a perfect example
Mhm.
right there, you
Yes,
know.
the authenticity.
which was the creator,
Mm-hmm.
he subtly came in and changed their mindset from being authentic to
Mm-hmm.
being a carbon copy,
To being a carbon copy, perverted the perfection
perverted.
of Yahweh. The first thing he asked them, "Where you at? Where you at?" They over there hiding. So the authentic Adam and Eve, they never hid from Yahweh. They heard him walking in the cool of the day, and they were ready to meet with him. And now that perfected visitation time that they would have with Yahweh is now perverted because now they've been told that they are something that they are not.
Yeah, yeah. And the interesting part about all of that, even when you look in the word, that it was always between the enemy and Yahweh.
Yes,
We see the man and we see the experiences they went through, but it was higher than just who they were.
that's good.
And even in the beginning, that even though the target was Adam and Eve, the backlash had nothing to do with
That's
Adam
good.
and Eve.
That's good.
Yeah,
It's all about Yahweh. And
right.
it's the same thing today. That's
Yeah,
why he told us, that's why he told us the battle's not yours. It's
exactly.
mine. It's
Exactly. We wrestle not against flesh and blood.
but principalities, spiritual wickedness,
That's
rulers
right.
of darkness in high places. And y'all out here, we out here trying to fight and got swords and all this stuff. And it's not even our battle because it's not our enemy. It's
And
his.
that battle's already been won.
Right.
We're just walking through the process.
Right. Now, mind you, he is the enemy of our souls, but what it's about is about Yahweh. He's doing everything he can to pervert the perfection of Yahweh. We
Yeah.
were created in his image and his likeness. And when
And
he
that's what he
created us, he
didn't
said
like.
it is good. He created us, said it's good, and then he blessed us.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And that's why when he did that, the enemy was like, what? This ain't going to be. That's why when he came and he addressed Adam and Eve and the enemy, he said, you knew what you was doing. That's what he told the enemy. He knows what he's doing with each and every one of us to keep us from being authentic.
Woo! But yet we don't see him. We
We don't
don't see
realize.
how he subtly creeps in and causes you to start changing who you really are, changing how you really talk, changing how you really think, changing how you view things and view people, and what it takes to be successful, what it takes to be a great orator, what it
Yeah,
takes to be a great broadcaster, what it takes to be a great author, what it takes to be a great chef. He starts perverting that subtly, and we miss it. But all of it is designed to keep you from walking in the authentic purpose that Yahweh has for you.
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
What is it? The lust of the flesh,
Hmm.
the lust of the eye, I'm saying them backwards, and the pride of life. And all those things that in a nutshell keeps you unhappy, it keeps you broken, and it keeps you always wondering, who am I? Your identity was taken when Adam and Eve made the choice no longer to accept who they really was.
Wow.
Our identity is what's on the not the chopping board, but what is the foundation of our life is. If we never know who we are, we can never be the best version of who we are. It is vitally important that we understand that it's deeper than us.
Mm,
See, on the surface, we live in life, but it's underneath in those rooted places. What's real? Is it corroded? If the wind comes along, or is that tree going to fall? Or are we going to learn how to accept who we are, get into Yahweh, and be like a tree planted by the rivers of water that shall not be moved? What happens is that when we position ourselves to accept who we really are and flow in that, not flowing in what somebody else is doing, but flowing in who we are. So that means, and one of the challenges I like to give people to do, and this man was talking about the other day, it was three things he said, and I can't remember, but one of them was he said, look in the mirror and say to yourself, I love me. That one alone, when you, oh, and the other one was to take deep breaths.
mm,
When you look in the mirror and look past beyond the surface of what you see, you begin to see who you really are, the authentic self you begin to see.
mm.
And when every time you say, I love me, it causes everything in you that is not right to begin to break. So, what do I mean? Don't look in the mirror and say, I love me and walk away. No, minister to yourself in that mirror with those words. And
Mm,
I promise you that all those things that had you bound,
mm,
as far as considering the authentic person that you are, will begin to break down. Why? Because now you're getting into the root that needs to be strengthened. Your roots need to be strengthened, not just when I say yours, mine too. I'm working on mine every day to be more and more and accept me for who I am. Not thinking because I don't speak like someone else, I'm not educated like someone else, I don't know the word like someone else, that doesn't diminish who I am. Those things can be enhanced, teaching, going to get educated, but it still will not affect or put in effect who you really are. It just enhances who you really are. And that's what we need to start working on. You talked about the 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 post, the goal, the
yeah.
goal. And I have somebody coming on that deals with goals, but
Hmm.
uh, I had a goal. The last goal post I had, I made before the pandemic. I did not change that goal post. I did not do a new one. To everything that was on there was completed.
That's good.
I was like, I'm not making a new one. Everything on here is not completed. So why am I making a new one? I kept that up for at least 3 to 4 years
That's good.
before everything on there had was completed. I
That's
mean, I could have did a new one, added stuff. I wasn't adding another thing to
mm,
that goal post until I the one I had was completed. So as I went along, I put the dates when things started happening and completed.
I like that. I like that.
Um, we sometimes we do goal posts and we do different things because we want to see a different outcome. It didn't happen this year, so maybe if I tweak it and do it this way, it'll happen that year. I was like, I'm not doing another goalpost until everything on here is completed.
We got to start. We just have to start.
Right.
I made a post about that the other day. You just got to start. And like you said, there's no need to keep doing a new one every year if I haven't done the one that I did last year. So maybe I need to revisit it and look at
Revisit.
it because my desires, my, goals or things that I want to achieve in life have possibly changed. You were blessed because you
And will
had
shift.
yours and you said, okay, these are things that I still want to do and I have not done them yet. So I'm not right now, I'm not a nair, another thing. I'm not right now anything else.
I'm not looking for another magazine. I'm not
No,
looking for another newspaper. I'm not looking for another picture.
until I accomplish these things that I have written down.
Yeah.
And I know for me, there are things that I want for 2025. They some of them are different from 2024
Of
because that's
course.
not even a desire anymore.
Anymore because it shifts. As
But
you mature, things
will
change.
change. But I need to do things. What I do want to do, I need to do them realistically. Unless it's something that Yahweh has said He's going to do, then I know that's out of my control and that's on Him to do. But if there are things that I want to do to better me or to help me in my purpose and my path, then I need to make sure they are things that are realistic for me to accomplish
Yeah.
because we can set our own selves up and then we're upset with ourselves, we're feeling condemned when we don't accomplish
Accomplished.
things, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so even going into 2025, I think we should look at ourselves, go over 2024, examine how much of 2024 was my what was I my authentic self.
And that's something in the 1212 we are doing now our new life,
Mm,
and we're going back over, and Alicia has us going back reflecting, but she also has us breaking down the different times of the day, how we did it and how we're doing it now, to see how we need to operate in 2025
see,
different.
that's good. See, that's why I love Miss Alicia. Cause see, can't nobody do that like Miss.
Right.
Can't nobody
Right.
do that like Miss Alicia.
Right.
She just broke down everything I was just saying by having the community do an exercise and doing it strategically. And so I encourage, I think everybody here is in the 1212 community, but
I don't know.
perhaps people are watching the replay and they're on my friends list. I implore you to go and be a part of the 1212 community. For me, sometimes I have to watch the replays because it comes on so early in the morning because I'm on the West Coast.
Right.
I can't get up at 3 in the morning with y'all, even though Prophetess Leslie be up at 3 in the morning on my phone doing stuff. And so, but I'm like, I can't get up at 3 in the morning.
I've been trying to remember. I've been trying. We got a time difference.
It's all right. But it's a great community. And as we get ready to go into 2025, this week, I want you to look at 2024 and just think back. How much did I walk in my authentic self this year? Was there at any time that I was trying to be or do something that I really wasn't, or operate in a place that really was not for me to operate in? Um, was I taking on assignments that had nothing to do with me because they weren't really for me, but I saw somebody else doing them and I felt like I could do that too? You know, um, just take the time to examine it. And I'm not telling you to do something that I'm not going to do. Um, because it is so easy to slip into because of where we are. That's why Yahweh tells us to be in this world, but not of the world. Those of us that are believers.
Right.
Tells us to be in this world, but not of this world, because it is so easy before you know it. You could be looking at something or someone and saying, I could do that, but is it for you to do? Because all of us have our own journeys. I like what Apostle said today. We all have a calling, but like you said, he said, and like you said earlier, um, I might be a teacher, which I am, and there are other
To your
teachers,
heart.
other teachers around me, but I can't teach like that person teaches. I can watch them and admire them and maybe adapt some of their concepts, but it is not for me to try to emulate and then covet them as a teacher. I am to walk in my purpose as a teacher, as Yahweh has created me to teach, because what we do and what we say when we try to alter what Yahweh has done is that we don't like and appreciate him, like he's made a mistake. What he did wasn't good enough, and I have to change it. And that is just, it is so, I cannot find the word tonight to explain what that is. It's
While you're thinking of the word, we're also causing somebody else to miss
mm,
what Yahweh has for them
mhm,
because we're not being our authentic self.
mhm.
If we're doing it, it doesn't matter, but I'm going to even say you can be in the corporate world and you can be the executive or the VP, and you're trying to be the VP, the executive, like someone else. Your company is missing out on who you really are to bring your company to the place that it needs to be.
That's good.
When you speak and I was sitting up here and Wanda was talking about 2025, and I said, I'm going to say 2025. Nice and prim and proper. But we do other people a sell, um, um, other people injustice
Injustice, yes.
by not being ourselves.
Hmm.
Who you are, there's something in you that they need, that if you never be yourself, they'll never receive.
They'll
That
miss it.
could be a part of their healing and deliverance.
So good. So good. I thought about that earlier. Yeah. If we never show up, there are people that are waiting for us,
Waiting.
rather it's in ministry, rather it's on your job, rather it's a speaking engagement, whatever it might be. They are waiting for the authentic you to show up because they need, like you said, they need what you have. And if you don't understand what you have, then there's a problem. And then people's lives are left hanging
In the
because
balance.
it's inbound, right? They're in limbo because they are waiting for you in your authentic self to show up because you have what they need. And if you're so busy trying to mimic somebody else, and you show up, they still aren't getting what they need because you aren't coming in your authenticity. So
And then they're going to try to be like you. And now you see them, you see so and so, you see so and so, you still have that line still coming down of everybody being somebody else. I know I'm sure we're about to close. I wanted to say that in 2021 is really when Yahweh started working on me being authentic.
Mm,
accepting who I was and being okay with who I was.
mm,
Before that, I didn't really know who I was, so it caused me to have a lot of depression.
mm,
It caused me to have a lot of insecurities, and it caused me to walk around sad,
mm,
head hung down. And those are things that happen when you don't know who you are. And you wonder why you're depressed a lot. You wonder why it's so we at that time you like to have a woe is me, a lot of woe is me parties. Or you become a victim. Everything is always done to me. All these things happen because we do not um, fit or get in. I'm gonna say get into the groove of who we really are.
mm.
And those are things we need to start paying attention to so that we can change and shift from just trying to figure out who we are to being who we are. Just be. What does that look like? How does that sound? What does that feel like to just be? Is it okay to just be? All these are questions that need to be answered because there's somewhere you have to get to. And until you realize and understand who you are, you might not get there. So I was going to be a part of a book. What do they call it when you have more than one writer?
I don't know.
Yeah, if I call it, you know, I just can't think of the
I
name of
can't
it.
think of the name right now.
Yeah, but and I, I I was in a community with Doreen Letson, um, Doreen, yeah, Letson Reed, and she was having
Mm,
anthology,
mhm.
and so, but I wasn't going to be a part of the book, and then I said, oh, maybe I will. Okay, so I decided to be a part of the book, and the book is Confident Women Rise.
Ah,
That was the name of the book. And we were in an interview, and in the interview, the lady, Sandy, her name was Sandy, come have coffee with me, something like something about coffee. And she said, and what's the name of your title? And I went to say something, but it wouldn't come out. And the
huh?
only thing I heard was the secret of a pastor's wife.
That's good. That's good.
So um, when I was standing there, she was like, "It looks like you just had a shift." I said, "Yeah, a real big one." But I never realized that that was going to open up the door for me to be authentic, for me to be, I never talked about me and really what I went through and things like that. That was just to me not important to other people. But I had no idea that there was a making of
Yeah.
who I really was that was taking place. So I will be talking about that, the secret of the pastor's wife, not to badger anyone, but
Mm-mm.
to just tell of how we as pastors' wives hold things, ministers' wives hold things and never tell it.
Yes, Lord.
And we walk around smiling and acting like everything is all right. And we're never being our real self because of somebody else.
Yes. Yes. That's good. I know a little bit about that. I
I know.
until I couldn't hold it no more, and then my face wouldn't let me hold it no more. Yeah.
Well, I held it. My husband passed in 2000, and his daughter kept saying to me, "When you going to tell your story? Because if you don't tell it, I'm gonna tell it." And I'm like, "I'm gonna tell it. I'm gonna tell it." Well, guess what? The
You
pressure is applied.
ap- applied pressure. When,
Applied.
when is that happening? When is that going to be?
Well, um, I don't know. I will talk about some of it on the 21st. Actually, tomorrow I'm going to be on it. on Erica Bishop
Oh,
Erica Bishop's show tomorrow.
okay.
And the funny thing is that when she called and talked to me about being on the show, and I was like, "Oh yeah, okay." And she was giving me some topics. I said, "Oh, I can talk about any of those." She said, "Good, you're gonna be on so and so, and you're gonna be on so and so." I was like, "Huh?" But I'm trying to find it. In other words, the topic tomorrow, I have to reveal myself. So me starting to reveal myself coming to this is coming full circle now,
Okay.
and me revealing myself is going to take me being authentic. It's
That's
going to
what.
take me being authentic and uncovering things that I've kept for so many years.
That's amazing.
One of the problems I had was I always felt I never wanted to uncover my husband because he was a leader, he was a pastor, and I never wanted to, the, even though he didn't do right by me,
Mm-hmm.
I never wanted to put him out there. And even when I tell my story, it's not to put him out there, but
Yeah.
it's to help other women that go through the process and don't have anyone to speak
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
help them understand that it's not healthy. There
Mm-hmm.
was times I stayed in the bed for months, couldn't move,
Yeah.
just sick because of the things that I went through.
Wow.
But just to let them know, first of all, you're not alone. You don't have to go through it by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And there are women out there that will cover and protect you, not put your business out there in the street most of the times because women in circles like that want to be friends with other people and they want to put your business out there because they want somebody to befriend them.
Yeah.
They want somebody to like them for who they are,
Yeah.
and they want to make themselves look better. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we can't hold it against them. We have to understand why they do the
Yeah.
things they do.
Yeah. Because there's issues going on with them too, and so if I can detract from what's going on with me and put you out there, then it makes me look better. When
Yes,
in actuality, I got a whole bunch of stuff going on with me that I don't want nobody to know. Again, secrets and not being our authentic self.
yes. I see you have another request to sing a song. So maybe tonight you'll be closing out with a song.
I see that. You know, we want to thank everybody.
Thank you for having me, Wanda.
This
Thank
was an excellent conversation, and I thank everybody who was here and joined us. And for those who will watch the replay, um, it's important to know who you are because until you know who you are, you cannot walk fully in your purpose. And just as Miss Leslie was just saying, now the pressure is being applied. Yeah, and it's not anything anybody's doing. It really is Yahweh's doing. That the
you.
pressure is being applied for her to begin to share. And in her sharing, she is truly walking in her authentic self. And
So
go ahead.
before you go any further, I just want to tell you that the title for tomorrow, Broken to Bold, Bloom, Blossom, and Betrayal.
Ooh,
That's a whole lot.
man, it was going up and then it went. I was like, oh, oh, yeah,
Beyond betrayal.
right.
Beyond,
It's like God dog. Yeah, that's gonna be good. So,
yeah.
um, where can they watch that at? And
Listen, I was cool with it till I saw the flyer and saw Lisa Johnson was going to be on there too. I was
oh,
like, oh,
see, that should make you comfortable.
no,
That
it ain't.
should make you comfortable.
No, it
If you
ain't.
got everybody around you that you love and that you always talk with, that should make you comfortable.
No, it did not. So, because she's been waiting for this.
Well, it's just like you said to us earlier when I was talking about the book and all that, you said timing. And so now
Time.
we are in Yahweh's timing, and it's time to come forth and bloom and blossom. Yeah.
So it's going to be on Evolve and Elevate with Erica. That's what it's
Mhm.
called. And it's going to be tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Time.
Okay,
So
5 o'clock. Well, can we catch it on
replay.
Facebook or YouTube? Or
Yes, she's on YouTube, she's on Facebook. Um, I'll make sure that I
you post a
get
link on
you.
your page so we
Uh-huh.
can all watch and be there with you to support. I know that it's going to be a phenomenal show. I'm grateful for Yahweh to apply the pressure and push you so
The
that,
night before.
yeah, because 2025 is going to be awesome. You know, new assignments, new things that you have to do. So it's time to get out of this. I'm in the background. I don't share much. The thing with it, I was thinking about today is those that walk in authenticity, they kind of walk alone. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? They kind of walk alone, and they aren't on these big humongous platforms and all of that because that's where everybody wants to be. They are often overlooked. They are the most powerful, they are the most unique because they're authentic. They tell the truth. And so they're often overlooked. But in next year, some doors are going to be open and there are going to be some places that need what you have. And so he's just preparing you now for what's to come. And I'm excited because you have all of us. First you had us forgiving everybody, forgiving ourselves, and
right.
forgiveness, and now we being authentic, right? Because like the title says, he has applied the pressure of authenticity in your life and given you the charge to help everybody see we could no longer walk as a fraud. We can
No,
no longer walk carrying all these bags. We can no longer walk in somebody else's clothes. Like Saul wanted David to use his armor. He was like, I can't use that. That's not authentically me. And you want us to pull off the grave clothes, pull off the clothes that no longer fit, put off the clothes that don't belong to us, pull off the titles and the facades that don't belong to us, and walk in the authentic person that Yahweh has called us to be, no matter
yeah,
what that is, rather it's in corporate, rather it's the
that's right.
baker, rather it's the candlestick maker for real,
That's right.
rather it's the daycare provider, rather it is the teacher at the school, the librarian. Nobody can do it the way you can because you were designed by the originator and you are an original design. One thing he told me in my sleep was you are an exceptional masterpiece and
You
should be
are.
handled as
Yes,
such.
that's
And
right.
all of you are that. But if you're trying to take the masterpiece and paint other things on it, put somebody else's feathers on it, put somebody else's color on it. Oh, I want leather on me and you're porcelain. Then you're messing up the designer's original design. It's time for us to embrace who we are, be confident, be mature, and walk in our authenticity. And so I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. A song, Father. I will bless your name. I will bless your name. I will bless your name. Yes. I will bless your name. I will bless your holy name. I will bless your holy name. Be authentically you. We'll see you next week.
Thank you for having me.
Sundays, 4 p.m., right here on Facebook and on YouTube. Let's talk about it with Wanda. If you have not followed me, please follow me here on Facebook and make sure you subscribe on YouTube. And we'll see you next week, 4 p.m. or 5 p.m. No, it's going to be 4 p.m. because we have another guest that I believe that you are going to enjoy. So have a wonderful week. Remember, look at your life, look at 2024 and examine, have I been authentically me? And if you haven't, let's do what's necessary so that when we go into 2025, we're walking in with confidence, being authentically who Yahweh has created us to be. Have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you next Sunday. Pastor Leslie, Prophet Leslie, Leslie Montgomery, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So, so take care, everybody.